In 2011, a small startup launched a blender. Not a particularly powerful, not especially beautiful, and definitely not the cheapest. Their competitor had better features, better pricing, and better distribution. Yet, within 6 months, this inferior blender was outselling every other blender in its category. The difference? It wasn't the product, it was the story they told. Today, I'm going to show you how exactly to craft a product launch narrative that makes your product impossible to ignore. But first, let's bust a myth. Most people think a product launch story is about features and benefits. That's why 76% of product launches fail. The successful 24%, you may be wondering, they understand something crucial about human psychology that I'm going to share with you. In the next few minutes, you'll see two completely different products that use the same storytelling secret to dominate their markets. Can you spot what they did differently from their competitors? Let's go back to a blender company. Their competitors were talking about horsepower, blade speed, but they did something different. They put their blender against a series of seemingly impossible challenges. Instead of listing features, they showed their blender destroying an iPhone. Outrageous, yes, memorable. Absolutely. Their Will It Blend campaign turned product demonstrations into must-watch entertainment. But here's what most people miss about this story. Take a guess. What do you think their sales increased by? 50%? 100%? I'll reveal the shocking number in a moment. But first, let's look at what made this narrative so powerful. This brings us to our first narrative approach, the challenge story. It works because it triggers three psychological triggers. Curiosity, what will happen? Conflict, what will work? Resolution, the unexpected success. Their sales didn't just double, they increased by 700%. But here's the interesting part. There's another approach that works just as well, but in a completely different way. And we saw it transform the launch of a simple household cleaner. This brings us to our second narrative approach, the origin story, but not the kind you're thinking of. Let me show you what this cleaning product company did very differently. Which of these two opening lines do you think performed better in their launch? A, our product kills 99.9% of germs. B, we created this because my daughter couldn't stop getting sick. The answer might surprise you, and in a moment I'll show you why. The second line outperformed the first by 300%. Why? Because it shifted the story from what the product does to why it exists. And here's what made it truly powerful. They didn't stop there. They turned their customers into story characters. Now watch what happens when we combine elements from both these approaches. Let me show you a third example that did exactly that. Combine the two approaches I have already mentioned. A small electronics company needed to launch their new headphones in a market dominated by big brands. Instead of competing on features or price, they did something completely different. They combined the challenge element, like the blender, the personal story, like the cleaner, but with an unexpected twist. Let me give you the exact framework to craft your launch narrative. There can be two types. One, the story foundation. Find your why moment, identify your unique challenge, locate the human element within. The narrative structure, start with the tension, build through the challenges, reveal the unexpected mysteries. Which of these elements do you think matters most? Hold that thought. Here's what most launch stories get wrong. They focus on the product journey instead of customer's journey. Let me show you how to flip this. Remember these 3 principles that I had mentioned before? Your product isn't the hero, your customer is. The features tell, but challenges sell. Every great launch story has a wait what moment. But here's the most important part. Your product launch story isn't about your product at all. In fact, it is about the change your product makes possible. The blender company wasn't selling blenders. They were selling amazement. The cleaning product company wasn't selling disinfectant. They were selling peace of mind. What change does your product make possible? Share your product story in the comments below. I'd love to help you find your narrative hook. And if you want to learn more about strategic storytelling for business, hit the subscribe button. Next week, I'm sharing the framework that helped one of my clients get featured in the Forbes magazine. Till then, stay storied, and I'll see you for the next one.